For those, what I might do is, can I move that over? I can't move it over. Oh, hold on, I'm going to do something. Give me one tick, just so you can all see it on the screen. Gleno's marking, and they're all in the other room marking. Can everyone see that now? Oh, is that because you can't scroll? Can't you? Sorry, I'm just checking. Because you weren't logged in. Right, okay. All right. For those that weren't logged in earlier, see the snapshot on the big screen? Gleno's doing some marking, and heaps of them are resubmits. And I think we've mentioned it many times, but I think some might not be grasping the concept for assessment 2. When you do it, you have to have activities reliant on each other, you know. You can't do the concreter, or you can't form up and do a slab until your excavation's done, correct? So the concreter, the excavation is a predecessing activity for the concreter, yeah? Does that make sense? Glenn's also made a point, see at the bottom, they all need to check feedback as they only have 30 days trials on their Gantt programs. And that's the same for Smartsheet, right? This is where we might get in a bit of trouble because not all of us use an OpenProj. So this is 14 days left. I highly recommend, there's someone, Lachlan, can you shut up please, dude? Hold on, I'll just mute you. Sorry, mate. I'm not being rude, but anyway. What I recommend is not a bad idea to highlight all your work you've done. Maybe highlight with your predecessing and duration of activities. Copy it and put it in a spreadsheet, yeah? Because there's a big chance in 14 days if you've had a resubmission and you go, oh, my subscription's gone, you lose all your stuff. Okay? Now, if you have saved it as a different file or you've exported it, you'll never lose that. But I'm just giving you some recommendations, yeah? Most of you are all over it, to be honest. I have mentioned, a few have asked some questions, and it's really difficult because, like I was just talking to Paul, he's using Rike, and it's actually not a bad program, it's the same, but he can't add 2 predecessing activities together, which sort of makes things difficult. I just want you to think about, I know we keep talking about it, windows and doors. You don't need rough-in. You don't need to rely on windows and doors. You can do it at the same time, can't you? You can start your rough-in at the same time as fitting your windows because they're 2 separate trades. So I'm saying I really want the roof trusses done so all the frames are complete and braced so there's no movement. I'm saying then I'm going to start doing my windows and doors. So those goes in as 6 and 6, yeah? And that's when it links properly. Sorry. All right. Then you can see and you can check every item links accordingly. I know it's a small one. I've got my critical path added. You can see those ones, they've got some lag time. That one. So roof sheeting's got 2 days lag time. Rough and electrical's got 4 days lag time over the weekend. Yeah. That's vital when you want to have a nice tight schedule. All right. Is everyone okay with that, boys and girls? Is it okay if I move on? Yeah? All right. I'm going to move on. How are we going with assessments? Can I have some comments in the chat box? And sorry, I'm wearing glasses now and it's a pain in the bum. How are we going with the assessments? Just give us some comments in the chat box. I'll probably have a question or form at the end. Up to 5. Lachlan, that's brilliant, mate. Good effort. Those, if you're getting a wriggle on, you really want to have a nice week off, not have to worry about Cert 4 and just get refreshed. Just get it done. And it makes it easier for myself, Glenn. We've got Stuart's doing a bit of marking and Frank and Adrian. It makes it easiest for us. And then we can just focus on structures, which is probably the best subject out of all of it, which is probably the one that you thought was a full year of. Okay? Dilapidation report was probably the easiest one, Max. So got to finish off a bit of assessment 3. Yeah, see, everyone seems to be on track. Okay, that's excellent. Send some messages to your assessor if you've got any dramas. But actually, what I might do before I do start tonight, yeah, Adrian's made a good point. There's no TAFE next week. We're all going to have a break, especially you guys doing all the work. I know you have to work, but us teachers, we're having a break as well, so we're going to have a week off. So, anyway, enjoy the time well spent. Then we've got 8 weeks finished, and then you will be able to go out and use all of this knowledge that you've taken in this year and use it out in the industry and make loads of money, and then hopefully buy me a beer if you see me at the North Gong for you Wollongong students, eh? I'm a bit too old. Yes, Mohammed's going to shout me a drink down there. Sorry, I'm just waiting for this page to upload, so bear with us. I am going to make a good effort to get to Wagga and Griffith too, because I'm not going to be delivering as much as Adrian and Frank are, so I'm going to just try and see everyone. Wednesday schnitty, Tim, right? Oh, brilliant. Sorry, yes, I only drink light beer, Nick. So sorry, I'm just waiting for it to come up. Actually, while I'm there, then it still doesn't come up. It's pretty slow, eh? Is the attendance choice working all right? Okay. I might talk about the assessments after because it just won't come up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get onto tonight. So I've got a couple of small activities. It's not a long night, and we're just finalising everything for this cluster. All right. Remember, we're doing our ITPs. Everyone got a bit of an understanding for them. I've tried to teach it as if they're practically used. And then checklists. I've got a bad feeling Moodle's a bit slow. No, it's working. Okay, if you refresh. And I'm just going to read out while this comes up. Adrian's made a comment. You will be all so clever when you finish that you will avoid what was noted on the news today. Australia recently hit the highest number of builders going broke, mainly due to poor cash flow planning. Actually, that's a really good point. Before I go on to this, I got a mate that's right into finance, and he's got a multi-million-dollar company. He actually checks his finance every Friday. That's his whole day. He doesn't check it monthly. He doesn't check it quarterly. He checks it every week. And he goes, there's something shifted. He says, I want to know why. So he's got full control of it. It's a good point. If you're doing brilliant work as a carpenter or a builder and you're just finishing off beautiful projects and you got poor cash flow and you're not getting any income, you might as well stay at the beach and earn no money. So just bear that in mind. All right. All right. Let's have a look. Why are checklists? Why checklists are important? Actually, when I first started building, I was right. I had this mindset where you know, when everyone says, "Oh, that site foreman's really good because he helps out. He's on the tools." My mindset's completely changed for that. I reckon if someone who's a site manager on a big job, he's on the tools, he's not doing his job properly because he's got too much to sort out. That's where you guys, the carpenters at the moment, should be the ones doing the work on the tools. So checklists are important. Here's an example. And can I be honest? Is this yours, Glenn? This is it's like a small suspended slab, and you can see that the bond deck is actually collapsed. Can you imagine how much money it's going to cost to fix this up? Like, all that concrete's got to get pulled up. Now that's just the instance of where it's caved in. You can see the bond deck, so there's not enough supports underneath. So this is someone inexperienced doing the work and someone inexperienced managing the work. Now, if you don't actually know, some people may know off the top of their head the spacings for the supports. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm looking at that there going, no, that's a worry. From my experience, you can see the bow already out there. But what's that? It looks like over 2 meters. I don't know. For some reason, I got 1.2. Someone tell me otherwise who's been doing I haven't done bond deck for a couple of years. But I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I've got 1.2 in my head. So I don't know. But in saying that, it should be in the specification. If it's not in the specification, it'll be in the formwork codes of practice. And remember, if you need to find out that information because you've done codes and standards and you're really, really clever at Cert 4, right? You can check it on your phone and find that information. Or if you do the structure subject, keep all the Australian standards in the back of your truck. Because this can make someone go broke. Yeah, I've got 1200 in my head. Josh is going to have a look. There you go. Yeah, it does depend. That's exactly right, Nick. So in saying that, these checklists are vital. Now, I remember this old builder years ago when we worked at this aged care centre, and he wasn't really good with documentation, but what he was good with, he was good at using the plans and using them as a checklist. Now, if you don't want to use a checklist, you can use the plan, and when you're going to do the slab, have the drawings of the slab and just tick everything off. Yeah, because it's your ass is on the line. Now, I swear to God, I can't remember where we got these, Glenn. I'm not sure if Glenn can remember, but anyway, it's a pretty good example. So let's avoid that at all costs. All right. Sorry. No comment. All right. Is the audio all right, boys and girls? All right. I'm just going to open up assessment 5 again. So a couple of them weren't sure. I'm going to let you read the whole lot, but you can see how I've noted some of this stuff's already been included. Now, this is for us to meet the training package. These are the items that are within this subject, I might say. Okay. The thing is that you need to do is a site checklist and an inspection test plan. That's what you need to do. All right. Does that make sense? So you need to do 2 documents. Okay. So the processes that are part of your industry standards and all that, that's in your company management plan. You've already filled that out. Is that okay, boys and girls? So you've got 2 documents to submit. And there's plenty of templates that we've given for you. All right. Is everyone okay with that? So that's not one of the hardest ones or the most time consuming. No, Corey, we want 2 separate ones. The reason why is an ITP is a more formal document which has the hold points, surveillance points, and what was the other one? Witness points. So that's more of a formal document which makes you shows us that you have an understanding of the ISO quality management kit or the management system. A checklist is a more informal document that just helps you build properly and gets information and make sure you check it off. All right, Joshua Smith's all over it. Props can span from 1300 for 250 mil thick up to 2000 for 100 mil. There you go. All right. But as a builder, you're not always going to remember all of that because everything's different sizes and you've got all this innovative building. You want to check your standards or your codes of practice or whatever specification you've received. All right. I'm sort of linking this. I probably should have taught this topic, and there's only one question, so don't get stressed about it. I probably should have taught this topic in contracts, but I'm just sort of linking it to the progress payments from assessment 4 because it sort of links. And we have spoke about it in contracts. Can you guys do me a favour? Can you guys open up your contract? Now, if you don't have it with you, which you should, I've left legal open. Okay. Where am I? There it is. I'm pretty sure I've left legal open. Can you please go to your contract, your HIA residential contract right now? And could you please find, I'll just double check that I haven't closed it. The clause on rise and fall. Please. And I want you to tell me where it is. For those that haven't got their contracts, I've just opened up legal again. Rise and fall. Oh, look at these guys just here. They just got it in front of them already. Gino's still on Snapchat. Can you please go to your contract and tell me about the rise and fall clause. Sorry? Or is that up? Can you see it or is it hidden? Oh, okay. Can you tell me where can you find rise and fall in your contract? Hey? Can you see it? Can someone tell me whereabouts it is? It should be a clause in your contract. Not quite, Martin, but a good attempt. Can anyone find it? All right, I'm putting you out of your misery. It's not actually in there. All right. Now, you're going to remember this. It's going to stay on your head one day. Okay, what I want someone to do is research online now. Right? Could you please research online? Now, the boys are spewing at me here, those online. Research now, and can you explain to me what rise and fall is in construction contracts? What's it mean? Yeah, apologies, it's not in there. What does rise and fall in construction contracts or in the construction industry mean? Bonus points. I've just had a look at some of the Wollongong students. They've got the same link that I'm going to actually put up. Hey? Can someone tell me in the chat box, please? What is rise and fall? Brandon. A rise and fall clause in the building contract is a way in which the risk of fluctuating building costs can be shared with a client rather than be borne solely by the builder. That's a perfect answer. I'm not going to hassle anyone else. That is a really good answer. Okay. So I've got an example of rise and fall at Naruma where we didn't have it in the contract, but what we did was steel fluctuates, the cost of steel fluctuates quite a lot. And we actually bought the steel, and the steel was delivered the day after we had the fence put up because we still had a lot of excavation work. It was there for a while. So we actually had the steel sitting there because I think it went up an extra $4,000 for the following month. So we were there for set out, excavation. We were there for about 2 to 3 weeks before we started using it, so we ordered it early. I'll just read out. So this is from, it's just a link that I found. Someone's, JD, Josh, can you shut up, please, dude? Muted you. So just quickly, I'll read parts of this out. Times of volatile building costs, builders will look at ways of reducing the risk of signing fixed price contracts with clients. Okay, I'm just going to increase the size of this. A rise and fall clause in the building contract is a way in which the risk of fluctuating building costs can be shared, right? I've read, right, so I did a bit of research on this. It says here, different to common industry practices, right? It should be noted. Now, I was searching here. It says that in the Home Building Contracts Act, well, I don't know why they call it a Contracts Act, that rise and fall clauses are outlawed, right? for an amount less than 500,000. Now I rung up HIA, and that is no such item. The girl checked, so the solicitor with HIA checked, and she said there's no clause in the Home Building Act that says you can't have rise and fall. Now in the HIA contracts you don't need it. It's not in there. But she said you can make an amendment if you've got a longer job that goes for a larger period, a year or two, and you might need to make changes to fluctuating prices in construction. So it's actually permitted. So that not only in the Home Building Act for residential, but it's pretty common in commercial. Does that make sense? And there's some good answers there. Well, actually, Lachlan's just made a good comment. I'll just go back to Andrea's. Sharing the risk of fluctuating building costs with a client. Yes. So imagine if you've got a job for 2 years and you've priced the steel at that cost in January 2020. In January 2022, it's going to be a lot dearer. So it's very, very common in commercial jobs. Not so much in residential because it doesn't take as long. But bear that in mind. All right. So I'm putting that link up. I need you to be aware that's not true for the Home Building Act. So that's out of date. But I just thought it was a good explanation. All right. It's pretty boring rise and fall scheduling, yeah? Or the actual definition and talking about it. I'm going to give you this, boys and girls, for tonight to do later. It's a task, right? Complete the it's one task, yeah? Complete the rise and fall schedule below, where the prime cost allocations have decreased by 3% and the provisional sum allocations have increased by 12%, sorry. Does that make sense? So if you have a look at here, provisional sums that we got for excavation and landscaping, they have increased by 12%. So we need to make that working out. Does that make sense? If you times that by that, you get, and then add it on, you get this amount. I'm going to get you to fill that out tonight. I'll put that one up. I want you to just listen up. It'll be another half hour or so, and then I'll get you to work that out. And then we'll go through the answer on our return. I might even bring it up tonight. That's there for now. You can start filling around with it if you wish. I'm not going to put the quiz up until we're finished. I've answered it. But what it is, sorry, I'm not going to put it up. What it is just short answer question from that table. Does that make sense? Boys and girls, are there any more questions with rise and fall in the construction industry? Does that really sort of, you don't need me to talk about that anymore? In my 20 years of building, I'm not sure if Adrian or Frank or Glenn want to say, I've only dealt with it once. But that's when I was working with a commercial builder and I wasn't doing any project management. All right. 2 topics. I'm going to talk about social media. I'm going to talk about websites, sorry, that's 3, and we're going to finish off with the cluster completion. So we'll be less than half an hour. Boys, please, can you get rid of your phone? It's killing me while I'm chatting and spending so many hours during the day so I can teach you and you aren't listening. You know, I'm really dedicated to it, Dean and Bronson. All right, Dino, social media. Would you use social? I know you've been using it. Would you use social media for your company, your future building company? I'm just looking at that question. I'm just going back. Sorry, Martin, correct. That's right. What I'll do is I'll put the answer up tonight. Let's open up. Can you please answer this forum? I have a couple of questions. Would you use social media in your business? Explain how you would do this and what you would do to stand out from the crowd. The reason why I'm sort of linking this to managed finances and contracts is this is like your on-site supervision. So we haven't gone into it in many depths. We talked about, what was it, search engine optimizations, but I'm going to get you an opportunity. If you want to, you can make a little website. All right. Dino Heffernan Builders Are Great Constructions or something like that. Aiden. Instagram. Aiden thinks Instagram. Yep. If you've all got Instagram, what carpenters are following Carpentry Australia? Most of you are following that. I reckon that's a really good one to sell your business. It's easy. Just put photos up. Jared, social media is the biggest marketing platform in the world with the option of search engine. Oh, you're all over that. That's a great answer. Anyone else? Give me someone. Look at a couple more, then I'll move on. Jake. Instagram. So everyone's liking Instagram, yeah? Let's look at one more. Give me something, please. Scotty. Facebook. All right. All right, I'm going to move on. All right, some 10 benefits of social media for all your businesses. I'll go through this quickly. People buy from people they like and relate to. So not only like you're setting up your company, but you're doing it throughout the job. You're showing photos of something. Reputation management. Like it or not, people are talking about your brand, whether you're initiating or involved in these conversations or not. You might have people putting your brand up and you're not even aware about it on social media. You might have finished a concrete pour and he's taking photos and putting it up. Send people to your website. There's only so much people can learn from social media posts and ads. Your website is where your house more fully fleshed out information, and you can utilize social media channels to drive people there. Find leads through social media, social selling, customer engagement. I might have gone through a few clusters ago. Customer service. Learn about your customers. People share a lot on social media, which means there's a lot of data you can find on your target customers and study your competition. All right. All right. Why should your construction firm use social media? So you set up. Josh has got a small business. His partner's doing the bookkeeping. He's got his business plan set up. He's got his WHS management plan set up. He's got his contracts ready to go. He's got his ute. He doesn't want to buy a website, so he's just starting using Instagram. He's got a Facebook page. He's starting to use that, and he's slowly building his social media footprint, I should say. And it's getting more traffic, and people are seeing things, and he's getting more calls and people that are interested. Yeah, so that's free. He's sort of tidied up his branding. He's got a nice little picture. Do you know when they see a simple picture, it's really good? Yeah, just a simple picture works well. I know we talked about this in managed finances, but having a picture of part of the job, where you're doing your construction process and you're putting a picture up on the right-hand corner or something of your company, people see it. You build communities and customer insights. So social media gives you the chance to learn more about your customers. I said that before. So in saying that, well, I've got one simple activity to do tonight. Besides, what was I going to say? Besides the rise and fall. Yeah, Adrian's made a good comment. It could decrease things too, so you need to be careful about it. Some of these websites can help you. You've got, this is just an example from finances, the QuickBooks, yeah? You can start to build your own website, all right? So refresh your page. There's Wix.com. I haven't updated it. That's about a year old when I first did it. But if you want to save some money and get something simple started, you can use this. Now, this is a quick video on understanding how to set it up. Maybe your partner's good at it, so she can set it up or he can set it up, whichever works for you. But I'm going to come back. This is only for a minute, so yeah, I know. Who is it? Roblox. Sorry, that's my daughter. I can't. I'm trying to get rid of it, and it keeps linked. It's linked to my account. It keeps coming up. No, I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm going to continue. I'm assuming most of you have probably just gotten through that. But just let us know quickly in the chat box. There's a tutorial that if you want to get heavily involved in it, you can go to. All right, there's another website that I'm going to give you access, and I only just found this one today, and it looks all right actually. If you want to start not just doing your own website, but this one's like making a construction company website. I like it. And the more you get involved in it, I think the easier it would be. I think it's good, for setting yourselves up. Now, I knew a student that worked for these guys a few years ago, and they're heavy on social media. They use the apps for all of their on-site supervision. They use it for their finances, and they're quite successful. If you have a look at the website itself, I just really like it. Giving them a plug, and I don't really know the boys, but you can see, the new way of building, of websites where you just scroll down and you hit on the tabs, and you can see their projects. Like, it's just really smart, what their clients say, and then you can just contact them. It's nice and simple. Picture of their project throughout this process, and then you can start, going across and having a look at it all in one. Okay. All right. I've got a simple activity for you tonight. Now, the only part of it, I'll read it out. So just sort of getting a feel for it tonight. It's a little bit free learning and getting your assessments finished, but we've been talking about it, using social media, and maybe if you do want to set up a website, this is not compulsory to do a massive one. This is something where if you just want to get a snapshot of something started so you understand, that's all you have to do. I'm not going to make you set up a website, but if you want to start looking at that, I highly recommend it. So after learning tonight's content, I want you just to set up a simple website for your company. You may use the links provided or try another. Upload your evidence here. This may be a link or even just a snapshot. The thing is, I've written a simple start is sufficient for you to have a feeling. So if you go in and just get a simple start up, Bronson Constructions, now I know that you guys have got it in the back of your mind. Do you know what I mean? So that's a simple one. So it's something you don't need to spend an hour on, because you've got so much of this work with your on-site supervision assessments. What I am going to do is I'm going to just ask you how you have gone with this cluster, how you felt you've been going with it. Those online too, Adrian's made a good comment. You might want to consider a domain name to match your business. Now, there's not much more going on tonight, but there are some activities I want you to tell us about so we can get a feel how we're going with this cluster, because I actually quite like it. Firstly, how are you going with your inspection test plans? Does it make sense using them? Or do you feel they're like a waste of time? Tell us that in the chat box. We're going to sit here for an hour or two tonight, and we're going to give you a bit of a free run of putting your assignments up. I'm actually going to go back and talk about them as well. I'm actually going to show a couple of examples if you wish me to, just to sort of get a feel for it. Because they're not actually hard, but they're just things that you're going to have to do on site. And you boys and girls that are all really got the knowledge of construction, you should be fine with, but you got to do it, and you have to understand that you'll need to do it out in the industry. Firstly, are you okay with the ITPs? I suppose we probably asked this question before. Is everyone, you boys, everyone's sitting here at Wollongong are pretty happy with it? What about yous online? What about Wagga, Griffith? Are yous okay with the ITPs? No comment? Frank's happy. So Griffith's happy. How about Wagga? Are you boys and girls happy? All right. I'll wait to see some comments in the chat box. I'm going to move on then. Yeah, Frank and that are happy. I want you to tell me tonight, what have you learned from this cluster? So we've gone pretty quick. So is there any newly found knowledge that you can use in the workplace for when you become a builder? I know that's why we're all sitting here. Organisation, yeah. This is one of my favourites. That assessment 2 is probably my favourite assignment. Just because the planning side of things, if you're not planning, don't bother building, eh? If you want to turn, sorry? Yeah, that's good. I've just heard the boys saying that their planning is their favourite. They're doing a schedule, how Dean said. What about understanding a company management system? Do you think you have grasped that? Because you should get to a stage, or even understand if you're working for a big company, there's policies and procedures for pretty much everything. So if that's the company policy, you just work to that. You don't have to argue with anyone about it. They've signed a contract, they're working to your company management plan, that's it. So, you should not have to argue with a client about getting paid on the 26th of every month because it's part of your policy. That's what was agreed, so that's what you're doing. Things like that. Let's have a look at any comments. Tyson. Gantt chart, yeah. Max. The software is dope. I don't know about that. Are you making me nervous? Found this subject better than most for my on-site prep. I've learned a lot about programs that I'll be using in the future. Mate, that's very good to hear, Scotty. We got anything else? Adrian's got one. Made to learn a Gantt chart. That's excellent, eh? Martin. I can do that too, Dylan. Simple programs that can help you make schedules and organise yourself and give you a better idea on time management. Yeah. And Tuesday night when I had the calendar on your phone, use those if you want to keep it simple. Gantt charts are probably something when they start getting bigger. Okay, I'm really happy with that. That's excellent. Look at a couple more. Lachlan. How that being efficient and knowing what every job is up to and what is happening there will make it easier for a company to run, and how the use of technology can make. Mate, that's a good answer. Learning about programs to help schedule jobs and keep on top of the progress and if you're in behind or in front. Excellent. I'm going to look at yours, Jack. Project out properly, yes. All right. One more, and then I'm going to move on with a couple of things. Corey from Miller. Programming and material scheduling. Okay. I think everyone's happy with that, and so are we. All right. I'll put these up now for you to answer. Oh, I got to put them on completion tracking. Sorry, I didn't have it before because the groups weren't right. How are you going so far? Have you been checking? I want you to answer this because myself and the other teachers are going to check. Do you have anything outstanding? Let us know on the forum. What would be ideal for us is to actually have everything up to date, and we'll finish marking in the next couple of weeks. So all you need to do is concentrate on structures because it's a pretty good topic. Yeah? Could you answer that for us? Also, the 2-week program, I want you to upload it here and we'll have a bit of a look. Okay. I want you to do that. I've still got a bit to talk about, so please don't run away from me. I'm just looking at a couple of questions. I might put up structures before we go, and I'm going to scroll down and show you what's in it. Naomi Fawkes is actually the man you got to talk to. He was going to have it complete this week, I was told. So Hassel Fawkesy. Yep, no problem. I'm going to, before I go to the assessments, because some of you might have already done them and you want to leave. So what I am going to show you is our final. You can see I've actually got thermal sustainable structures, but we haven't actually taught it. We've spoken about them. We should never have taken it out, but anyway, something we might do next year. The structures one is 8 weeks. I'm going to scroll down. Frank and Adrian are going to deliver most of it. Well, you can see we give you access to a lot of the Australian standards, because that's something I reckon, I was talking about those checklists. That's something that I reckon you need in your truck. If you don't have access to your phone or your laptop, you might have a list of 10 separate Australian standards sitting in your truck. Like AS 3740, waterproofing, domestic waterproofing, I'm surprised you don't even know about it now. Like, you should be checking it all the time. Because I'm guessing you've all done a renovation, yeah? You should have it. There's a demolition report, a materials order or identification order report, and then you've got some learning activities in the final structural worksheet, which is the main part of it. All right. It's sort of 8 weeks of following how you would build. So you know your planning schedule. What's your first item? Does anyone know? Huh? The commence date. So after you've done your DA and all that, what are you going to do when you go to site? My God, it's right in front of you. Look at the screen, guys. Oh my God, the boys are looking at me going, I don't care, Brett. Stop talking. We want to go home. Site establishment. Well done. Oh my God. Then you can see the flow, yeah? Demolition. That's if you have to do demolition. Okay. We go into hazardous materials. We have a good night. Everything's like building Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and there's a side look at commercial jobs as well. All right. So then we look at site establishment, hazardous materials. There's a good lesson on asbestos, waste management plans. Then we're going into soil classes. We really get our hands dirty with commercial jobs. We get our hands dirty with understanding different soil classes footings and flooring systems. I'm going to scroll all the way down. We get into structural design for commercial and residential jobs. We get into loads where we talk about primary loads, dead loads, live loads, and wind loads. We actually have to work stuff out. So this is this higher level from being a carpenter, yeah, and you're thinking about the project. You're not designing it, but you understand about the design, yeah. Commercial footing systems, pre-stressed and post-tension structures, structural principles, as I said, but then we go into a little bit more depth, okay, with regards to mechanical properties, doing some worksheet, working out live loads, dead loads, load paths. We get our hands dirty with AS 1684. Building masses, a lot of Australian standards. We actually have a night on AS, boys, we're nearly finished, yeah? AS 1684.3, which is the cyclonic one. And we get into termite management systems, which sort of link to the difference above, what's it, not the equator, the one at the bottom, the Tropic of, is it Capricorn? Yeah. One's got the red termite and blue, whatever. Wind classes, Glenn's a bit of an expert on that, but I think Adrian and Frank are pretty good as well. Connectors, we have a night on the cyclones up at Queensland and the types of tie-down connectors that we have which are different. Yeah, Josh, that's right. Raking and bracing, wind designs and span tables. We get in a little bit of depth of working at your span tables for your size of your lintels. Oh, we do a bit on materials as well, obviously. Tilt up, which is more tilt up and suspended slab, which is probably more on the commercial side. Just your DPC, sarking, concrete alternatives. I'm nearly finished. Hey? Right, okay. Hey, those online, Josh had just made a good comment. He said that he talks to some handyman. It's a timber merchant, and they actually do work out the spans for you. Yeah. Yeah. So if you've got to span a certain distance, they'll give you that. Yeah. So use it to your advantage, you know. You still should have some knowledge about it, obviously. And if you can just work it out yourself quickly, then you will. And remember, you have those apps as well. Yeah, that's a good comment. Like, if you as a builder, would you like, Jack, can you please stop watching that? If you, would you get the builder to set out your job site, or would you do it yourself? I'd be doing it. If who's responsible, I'd be getting myself to do it. Anyway, I'm nearly finished. Roof systems. There's a night on cladding, standards, guides and tolerances, sustainable night, which we probably should have more on it, but anyway. Then there's some good nights because we've changed. We go into services. I do the pools night because I was a certifier for a bit, so I know that pretty well. We do alpine and bushfire areas because like we used to have a lot of students down at Cooma. Can you Wagga or Griffith guys tell us, are you part of the alpine region? Because there's different classes and different ways of construction for some of the alpine regions. And then we finish off with some people skills and then the test. All right. Are there any questions? I'm going to sit tight now. I've opened up all the activities. I am going to open up the Horizon 4 quiz, which is exactly the same as that schedule. Okay. Not in Griffith. Okay, that's interesting. You could probably find it if you jumped on the building code and checked it already. The final exam is only on structures. It used to be on everything, but we're not allowed to do that. It's only on structures. So for each cluster, it's just the assessments. for each one, and you've already passed them. You've just got to finish off on-site assessment 4. Sorry, it's the 5 assessments, and then obviously the last 3 for structures. So it's not as assessment heavy for structures, but there's a lot of activities which you actually have to do. All right. Okay. I finished off with my learning or a little bit of babble just to tidy things up for the night. Can you make sure you finish those forum questions? I haven't put them on as a on the progress bar, so I'll change that. Okay, so you might get cranky. Could you finish them for us? And now I'm going to sit here for an hour or 2 and actually put up anyone's assessments or anything they want us to have a look at. So it's sort of a 3 hour or so just to finish off the cluster. Does that make sense? Otherwise, if you're happy, finish off assessment 5 and enjoy the week off. And can you tell me the forum's working all right? All right. All right. Yeah, well, you do, Corey. If you've done all the assessments, you got next week off. So don't bother coming in. We won't be here. What are you going to use it as, Mohammed? You can do a spread. You can do a spreadsheet if you want. All right, I'm going to turn off the recording and I'm going to sit here. And if any students want to put stuff up or want me to have a look at stuff, please do it. You going to put some up now? You want me to have a look?